Everybody, it's Go7, King of the Penguins here, with a replay commentary. This is the match between myself and Hogat, with me playing as Grim against Hogat's Adder on Issus. Fun stuff, so let's jump right in. As you do on this map, the black boat comes right down, build the 2 infantry, very much standard there. I'll do something very similar, moving towards the base. And then here is Hogat's first real decision of the match, and that is which of these infantry he's going to send towards this base, and it looks like it will be the one from over here. So that means that this will be his strong side, and this will be his weak side, most likely. Just because this one's a turn behind in the capture because infantry got sent over here rather than for something else. And then the black boat has come in. So that's probably why he does it on that side, is just for the faster infantry to be ready for this black boat. That's my guess. Or maybe just because he wants the earlier capture. And there you go. I'm doing a similar thing with getting the airport quickly. Let's see. Okay, so he's gone for a very fast recon. This is as fast as a recon you can get without doing a base skip. So he's going to be going for some early aggression, which I think is kind of risky against Grim. But there is one thing on this map that makes it less risky, and that's because of this early airport. So I'm less likely to have a fast tank because I'll probably get a fast transport copter. That's probably what he was thinking there. And because I won't have a fast tank, I won't actually be able to just kill his recon like normal. There we go. I do a little loop around because, you know, you gotta be fancy with your infantry movements. Gotta show that you know there's different ways to get there, I guess. These captures both of his infantry go in there. Now, one thing about this recon is he's not going to be able to get a transport copter for a few turns now. So, and he also won't have an infantry here. So he is hurting his own capture phase over here by a fair bit with the delay of transport copter and the infantry. So he's going to have to kill an infantry and delay another city or something to make up for the slower transport copter and the infantry that this recon would have been. Let's see. Yep, there's my transport copter. So he's got a very good opening against me here. Transport copter obviously does not help at all against this recon. And it also makes it so I won't be able to build a tank for 2 more turns. So I'm thinking that's what he was betting on. It does take him a little while to actually get in range to do anything. But it also takes me a while to get to these cities, so he's going to get there just in time. And now he's worried about HQ stuff, so he's going to go straight to the HQ for the capture instead of going more out towards this compound. Well, interesting that he's walking out like this rather than just waiting for the black boat. I don't think there isn't anything he gets as an advantage of going this route. If he just waits a turn to hop into the black boat, it will drop him off here next turn, where if he's just moving from here next turn, you can go here, go over here. So he's 2 more tiles he'd get, but maybe he doesn't know that. And then just nothing but infantry. Can't afford that transport copter, so it's delayed another turn. And maybe he's just not going to go for it. I'll go back to my infantry. Very, very daring of me. I think I'm going for this property. Nice. Transport copter already hitting the island property, and I put my infantry right into the block. I think it is faster, I think, to hop on this mountain and go here, and then you can like reach this city. I don't know. I guess it depends if I'm trying to, if this guy's plan is to go down towards this comm tower, then this is the correct path. I can't get a tank until next turn. Starts his cap. But yeah, like I'd shown in the map review, this doesn't actually protect the HQ when you do stuff like this. So I could have still gone for the HQ cap rush, and he gets spotted. He did not expect me to have my infantry here, this is fair. It's kind of an aggressive spot to put it. But his recon has been spotted, which means it will lose some of its surprise factor, but there's also nothing over here to actually thwart it. And now he gets his transport copter, a full 2 turns behind me in that regard. So things are looking up as long as this recon doesn't do too much. My captures up in here. And then the recon can see these 2 tiles. So this is a huge blunder that I make right here. Because what these happen? And then I make the choice to start this cap. So I'm bluffing him, right? I'm saying, aha, I've got a tank ready. I did not go transport copter first. I went tank first because I thought you were going to do a recon pressure or something like that. So I'm bluffing him that I have a tank. However, this is a horrible bluff. Do not do something like this. Because look, he can see these 2 infantry. And these 2 infantry had to have been my last 2 turns of production from this base. So I do not have a tank. All of these infantry prove to him that I do not have a tank. So this is not a bluff. You can very easily see that there is not a tank in range from this infantry. And I should have just gone and hid in a forest. Or, alternatively, not revealed my my infantry from this black boat, just like on here and dropped them off here and here. Then I could have done the bluff. Although he probably still would have gone for the attack. Because it's much more likely that I would have gone for the faster transport copter. And then I wouldn't be able to get a tank until I have it right now. And here he goes, getting in position to get a whole bunch of captures. Let's see, what's his plan here? Well, this guy's going for this one. This guy's going for this one. This guy's going for this one. This guy's going over here maybe to set up to capture this. Well, this one goes over here probably. That's my guess. Bam. And this is what makes me really sad as Grim. If I was a different CO, then this guy would be at 5 instead of 4, and you can do more bluff stuff. Although in this case I can't, because I've already shown that I don't have a tank on. So that was just a free hit for him that I should not have given. I should have gone and hid in a forest. But that's okay, because he is far behind in the capture game because of how early this recon had to be built and how it delays the transport copter. So I can afford to get hit once like this. I get a mech to help scare off this recon. Go back to rescue my poor little infantry up here. Start setting up for my own captures. And I go for this one really fast, which he can't actually stop. So that's good. I mean, it's like good and bad, right? In Fog, in Standard, it's pretty good to go for stuff like this, because then you know when they're coming to contest it and you can like send forces. But in Fog, oftentimes, when you go for these early contested properties, what happens is, out of the darkness, a large army comes and just takes it from you. So you only get like maybe 2k from it. And it's not worth the investment, where you could do like, go for this property instead and keep it for much longer. I get a recon. Everyone fall back to the protection of the tank. We're done with these bluffs. starts these captures. So I am pretty far ahead of him. Like, I'm already capturing this property and he's nowhere near it. But yeah, he's with his current infantry setup he has with this black boat, he's just dropping off one infantry where he could be dropping off two. And then I sent an infantry from here down here to still get my double infantry drops. And he built an artillery in like the mid base, so you can choose which side he wants to send it to. There are dreams, of course, of getting artillery in the forest overlooking your enemy's comm tower and then just denying it forever. So that might be his plan. All right. This is going to be where we start. I remember this being a big blunder turn for me. And it's this move right here. Well, it's this combination of moves. Because what I saw him do with this recon is just move off to the right. So it could be in this forest, or it could be further to the right, starting to like front switch on me. Because that would be pretty nasty if like an army shows up and then also the recon shows up to try and stop my comm tower. So that's what I thought he might be doing. So instead of having my tank supporting all these infantry, I'm having it off to the right here in this forest to try and intercept the potentially front switching recon, and then have my mech deal with protecting these infantry. But I could only actually do that if I place my infantry in a place that the mech covers. So instead of going here, I would have had to have like gone here. I don't want to go, or I guess I could have gone here because he can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I can't because then he can sit on my HQ. So I could like go here. I can't even go there. I can go like here and I can go here to be protected. Or I could try and body block with this infantry. That could have been a good plan too. But as is, I'm just giving him another free shot, which is not good. I get my own artillery and another recon. I think... Well, I know the recon over here's goal was to scout out for trying to protect this property. Because I thought that he was going to go heavily on this side to like follow up on the recon. But as you can see, he's got a tank coming in this way. I've got that mixed up. And now he's seeing that my infantry are kind of far back, so he's going to try and go for some of these aggressive captures, even though it's a little bit later in the game. Okay, it looks like he's going to be hitting for this forest to try and lock down my comm tower. And just nothing but infantry. And he started the battle copter production. Probably pretty aware that Grim really likes battle copters, so I'm going to be building a lot as well. Ooh, we get our kill. Of course, there's a lot of stuff here, so it's kind of iffy if this was worth it or if I should have just retreated. It's probably worth it, because if he's investing on trying to kill these guys, he's not investing in trying to deny my comm tower. And I still think that he's mostly invested down here with his vehicles, especially because this recon's stuck around. And it's doing some serious damage. And I'm being very skittish. But in range to like jump on any infantry that come after my comm tower capture. I think I have to base skip. Yeah, I have to base skip an infantry in this base because of the repair costs I paid for this infantry. And I'm trying to pin him in so he can't just take a straight run to the right here. I send my tank down. I am out of vision. I am out of vision with the tanks, just in case he sticks around. Get him. He scouts these guys out. I don't know if he reveals his tank. No, the tank just reveals other stuff. So far this has just been basically 1 infantry for 1 infantry, which is not so bad. And he starts to interrupt. I don't know about this stuff. Very aggressive with these captures, even though he has nothing backing these guys up, and he knows I have a lot of infantry in the area. I guess he doesn't think I have a tank. Which, to be fair, it has been kind of hidden. Still doing that weird, like, inefficient infantry movement. Yep. I don't know. There's the battle copter up here. He's really investing in this top. He just needs 1 more turn and he can start locking down my comm tower. Okay, I don't think... Yeah, I didn't see the tank. Send the recon in. Kill off that infantry. Now, I think at this time I thought that this would be a pretty safe move to do with the recon, because he doesn't really want to hit this with a tank when I could very easily have a tank back here to hit him back. Especially because he's seen like no vehicles over here. So I thought this was a very safe move to do. And I started this capture, of course. Or recapture, I should say. I'm getting a little bit aggressive with these infantry where I should start falling back because I don't actually have anything invested over here other than this 1 recon. I spot this capture. Since I have vehicles down here, let's definitely go for it. I'm a little bit behind in the capture phase right now, just because I'm not ahead at the end of my turn, but it's not so bad. Like, the recon did some serious damage, but it didn't do enough damage that I'm like out of the game behind in the capture game. So now he's in a little bit of a pickle. If he wants to use this tank to like stop my comm tower and then put his artillery here, he won't be able to deal with this recon, and then I have enough stuff over here that my recon will be able to beat up on his artillery. So he does get his comm tower. He engages me in infantry combat over here, even though he doesn't really have much. Like, this is a bad capture to go for, because I mean, he might get a few turns of income out of it, but I'm definitely going to be able to take it from him. So you might as well preserve the infantry. He's gonna looks like he killed the recon. He's just gonna let me get the comm tower, which is good news for me. But because he actually killed this recon, huge alarm bells should be going off in my head. Like, that's a really risky play to do when I could get a tank first strike and then just swarm me with infantry. So that means he has something protecting this tank. He has follow-up. Because that's a really risky play otherwise. And this recon just runs away. It's been doing a great job at harassing me. He's just full on investing in the top here. He's not even doing the transport copter work to this side. Got my comm tower, very happy. I'm now ahead by 1 property at the end of my turn, but he's going to capture these 2. My mech slowly zoning and moving forward. I had my own dreams of doing artillery locks on the comm tower, much more delayed. I didn't want to be very forward with it because I didn't actually have much of the way in this area. And I don't want to just get it picked off so easily. So I want to put it in an unexpected location that it might be difficult to scout. And then you can see I'm because I see the tank up here. So I'm like, oh, he doesn't actually have much over here to stop me from like meeting up on his captures. I'll come down and interrupt this. But then I go in. I was like, I'll try and kill off a bunch of infantry so that he won't be able to take these captures from me. Right? But then I'm like, well, now that I'm beating up these infantry, you can't have that many, right, to like stop this capture. That's definitely not true. He's got a lot over here. And then this is going to be the worst part. Is I invest this transport copter in trying to block for this capture and set and another infantry to its death over there. And then, of course, I wait with this guy because his job is just to protect these captures, these properties. So now Hogat's gonna definitely show his hand and that he's invested a lot on this side. So he's gonna get a lot of really good trades. And not really trades, where he just attacks and he just kills all of those guys. I now have, 3 infantry, one of which is injured on this front now. And that's why when you see stuff like that, where they go for these like aggressive attacks with the tanks, that's a sign that you need to fall back. You don't go in. Do not go in with your troops when you do that. Because I just lost a lot of stuff. And now I don't really have anything to defend this side. Where I did just a few moments ago. And now he's starting to fall back because he's revealed that he has all of this stuff up here. But I'm not out of it yet. Just because you have a really bad turn doesn't mean you need to surrender. Go for the attacks that I can. Get ready to capture this property. Start capturing this one. I know he can't have that much over here, so I can be aggressive, like so. Start cleaning up. I'm actually equal in property count right now, which is impressive, and I'm about to be ahead of it. Ahead for now. But you'll notice this battle copter I sent in against anyone else. This is a fairly safe thing to do because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2 turns away from the airport. But for Adder, he can use his CO power, which he has right now, and hit me. So that was definitely not a good call. But at the same time, I do have a copter chain going. So I will be able to hit him back. It's just, he'll also be able to send his entire army from up here down if he wants to. Because he's Adder, and he'll have all that move. And here I have to fall back. With, he could very easily take my comm tower right now. There's nothing really that could stop him, but my hope is that he does not know that. So he sees the... Oh, he also gets to start this capture I turned earlier, which is nice. We can zoom, start that capture. Just the huge utility of... And look at that, he gets... Because he has his power active, he gets the 2-hit combo with the copter and infantry. And it's a lot easier for him to do, of course, because he's got the super fast infantry. If they run away... And now I can't get this comm tower because he has the artillery locked right now. He starts going for my comm tower. Look at that. Zoom! Just the huge threat range. And he doesn't really commit to this front switch. He's kind of going in the middle with these tanks. So that's good for me. But the copter's coming down to support his other copter. And he goes straight for a Neotank. Oh my gosh. Well, he's definitely feeling it, feeling himself after the the very victorious fight over here and killing my battlecopter, but a Neotank is not the kind of thing you want to build against, not Hogat, but against Grim, since all my stuff already dies to like a medium tank, and a medium tank benefits proportionally more from Adder's powers. So a Neotank is a bit overkill. It's also not like that much more durable than a medium tank. So this is just a really easy, really big target, I guess, for me to invest my superior firepower into to try and level the unit value, because that's a very expensive buy. It's more than a turn's income just in one unit. I'm very pressured here, one could say. Yay, 19. I'm up in value. I thought about using my in income. I thought about using my CO power here, but I decided I wanted to save it because I don't have that many great engagements to make with it, and I do have more bar I can just charge up. Maybe do 2 in a row or get a there's a nice 2-hit combo. And that only worked. He had the defense, so it wouldn't normally work, but he had chip from the other copter. Yeah, I can either do a super, or I can do double CO powers. Almost I'm like stuck sitting on this comm tower, and he's got a artillery there. Nice, try and sneak in here. I think he actually sees that though. Yeah, he saw that. I was hoping that'd be really sneaky. So we'll see how he works me. And then I don't have much, but I don't want to just give away my comm tower, so I'll clear him off. And then this infantry can't get away, so we might as well delay for a turn. Capture. Since every turn you delay a capture on one of your cities is 2,000 in value, since you get 1,000 and they're not getting 1,000. And I just continue my copter chain. Air is usually pretty good with Grim, and that's just because it doesn't matter that anti-air like overkill you. So people often go with air, but of course they are weak, extra weak to luck because they don't have any defense stars. They just have them at 20%. Comes in, bam, one shot. That was definitely a roll, I think. But he has infantry around, so it's not like he wouldn't have been able to finish me off. Oof, all these. He's way up in unit count. Very interesting that he saw this artillery here, but he still moved the Recon onto the city in range of it. So maybe he didn't watch the turn replay. But I think he's definitely that might be the case because he's probably feeling very very cocky after that huge engagement over here. Although he's not diving in to clear out the guys that defend that comm tower. So even though I just had 3 infantry, one of which was at half health, they still held the line. Very impressive. I don't know why he's doing this weird reinforcement route. Now I think this turn I decided to go for my CO power because I saw that my Recon can actually clear this, and I thought that he might have sent all of his tanks down here so that my Recon would just reign supreme. And the way he actually placed this artillery does not cover this square, so that actually works out well for me. And I'm back to being ahead in property count. Yay, 1 shots. Doesn't 1 shot, but the 4 health infantry gets the kill. Bam. Now that's something that's a Grim only kind of thing to do. A 9 health infantry getting 1-shotted on a city. And then I continue this copter chain. Neither of us have actually built anti-air. If he built anti-air, my copter chain days would probably be over really fast, just because he'd be able to have a copter and an anti-air to contest me. I'm actually starting to not look as bad on the unit count side of things. I'm still looking pretty bad when it comes to unit value. I'm starting to catch up in unit count, which is impressive. I think it's just because I've got a few the pickups over here, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna lose some stuff. Oh well. I wouldn't advise doing stuff like this with your very expensive Neotank when you have all these other like tanks around to clear off a frontline artillery, because he's attacking from the road, and he knows I have like copters in the area, so I'm gonna be able to do a lot of damage to him. And he starts falling back over here. He doesn't actually go to kill this Recon, so I just gotta like this reaches, right? Yeah, he could have attacked it. He probably thinks I actually sent stuff over here to like sure up the line with vehicles. But if I do that, I just lose this side as well. So, you know, you just play to your outs. I'm not gonna send trickle in vehicles just to die over here. So fog is definitely helping me out in that he doesn't know how strong I am, even though he killed so much stuff. Oh wow, look at that, he's super scared. He's running way back. Way back! Okay, he thinks I'm about to smack him. That's interesting. Because he knows we're fighting over here. Okay. Oh, look at that, look at that. That is an actually perfect roll. Max damage for that mech was 3. And I wanted this to be a sacrificial hit so that two squares are still open to kill off this mech. So that was actually a perfect roll, and there was a chance that my mech would not die if he got the perfect roll. So that actually went off without a hitch. And then part of, and it's kind of going to backfire on me because I had calculated out how much value I would need to get my power this turn, and realized I would need to have some engagements over here to get it going. So I had this plan of like the infantry coming in and then the Recon getting a kill to get my power already set in my head. So I'm going to end up doing that even though I don't need to, and I'll just lose my Recon. But you can see this beautiful... Oof. Look at that. Neotank killed at the cost of a mech. And the artillery, I guess. But that's why you don't just leave your Neotank on a road on the front lines against Grim. Don't even need my super. I can just do that with a regular power. So he does have some stuff when it comes to that. And then that was a great start to the turn. Here comes a lot of questionable stuff that I would not recommend. I do want to kill this artillery, so I'd kill it. And then I have this reasoning in my head where I'm like, well, he has enough here to like kill these 2 tanks. So I can just send this tank in because he won't have enough stuff, right, to kill it as well, kind of a thing. I'll just lose 2 tanks either way. And then up here, this is where I still had that plan in my head, even though it's a terrible play right now because I know where his artillery is. He ran away. But whatever. just throwing away a unit that is super valuable. Oof, okay, see, this is where that my thinking of, well, I'm going to lose 2 tanks, so I might as well just throw in another tank and kind of like overload the side. Of course, he's adder, so if I'm putting stuff like farther away, that opens up avenues for him to hit from entirely different fronts, like this one. If he supers, that can hit me. Even like down here, it opens up like his reinforcements can hit that too. So that was a really, really bad play. If I had the tank back here, then it could like still fight at the stuff that hit me back for killing his Neotank. But yeah, and we'll fly in here. Why not? Why not give him a chance to first strike my copter for no reason? I'm not sure why I did that. I guess I'm trying to hold different sides so he can't actually like kill my tank, but that doesn't work because he can just have a tank hit from this road while the infantry reveals it, and then move the infantry, and then this tank's still revealing this tank, and then have another tank and kill it. So this is just putting my copter in danger for no reason. Although I might have thought that it's safer than it is because I might not have known how big of a lull he'll have from building the Neotank and being able to continue his copter spam. But we can see that he lost a lot of value that turn, and I'm very far ahead. So if like that turn would have been basically perfect if this tank didn't go after this infantry and if these guys didn't go in. And I like fell back a little bit with a copter. I don't agree with going for this comm tower either, really. I know it's there to try and like get a tank to hit it instead of one of my own tanks, but he's at her. You can see that the Recon just dies. He's going to get his nice tank engagements here. All the way, not even from like the mid, all the way from the other front. Oof. But I do lose 2 tanks, so I guess my reasoning was somewhat true. It's just I would much rather have his tanks fighting me over here than up here. Look how far that copter can go. I guess this copter actually ends up being okay. And sadly, this is going to mean that because I lost those 2 tanks and a copter and the Recon and the infantry, I'm going to lose the value lead and unit lead that I briefly got. Oof. Look how... And now this also means all of his fronts are getting their reinforcements a lot faster, so I can't really stay and fight. But I'm kind of locked into these, as you've seen for these past few turns. I've been very much locked into my copters fighting his copters and kind of trading back and forth. But the fact that this copter had to go so far and the fact that he had to use his super, does open up an opportunity to maybe get out of this copter chain shenanigans if I can just hold on to winning it for like 2 more turns. There'll be a gap where he won't be able to reinforce at that super length instead of just the normal power length of range. And I don't get that kill, which made me really sad. And that's just because he had his power armor. He didn't have any chip damage on it. So now that's his first 1 health copter to live. Let me fall back over here. I'm not doing too bad. I'm a little bit like behind in unit count and unit value, but I do have an income lead still, and I've had it for a while. 1 health copter gets away, just a block. Oh, my copter's just dying. And he's trying to protect... Now he's trying to protect these copters because they're not... like, this guy's not in range of his copter, and he doesn't actually have a CO power primed. So he can't actually cover that guy. So instead he's trying to wall for him. And there's his transport copter. Sure looks useful. I wish I hadn't just thrown mine away. I had like a phase around this time where I was very aggressive with my transport copters and trying to get like very forward walls with them, and then I just lose them, kind of like I did right there. And then you don't have them to transport your stuff anymore. So now look at that. I am 9 units behind. I'm pretty far behind in unit value, but not nearly as far. But there we go. We do get to kill his copter there. And now I'm starting to think about front switching up here, which would be a really good play because he doesn't actually have much. And it would be, of course, a much better play if I had done it while keeping the other Recon alive up here. We're starting to positions where I'm like, do I go down here? Do I go up here? Is down here a lost cause? Do I try and go for like an HQ race? And then I also have my sights on this neutral property, which is the last neutral property. And I saw that he moved an infantry up to hit me up here, so I thought he might not actually have vision of this property anymore, and I can try and sneak it. But it's also a really risky play because this is like the only guy denying this property. So if I lose him, I'm just gonna lose my pressure on it. And also, like, he was holding up everything over here, so I would not advise doing this kind of thing where you have only one. If you have only one infantry that's defending a bunch of properties, don't put them into the line of fire like that. But there's this 1 health copter. It's being a blocker and it's checking the forest. It's very powerful. And it also has 3 vision range, so it's also a scout. Now he gets to start the capture with his tanks nice and protected. This one being in the forest. This one having the tank in the forest and the city infantry. Actually started to run low on his fuel there. That's just how useful his transport copter has been. So this is a very it's like almost a passive forward push. He could have gone further, but he's like, I'll stay within range of all my stuff, which is definitely a good call. This Blackfoot's way up here for some reason. He's doing little infantry walls around his artillery. Very defensive. Starts moving back. So this is like the perfect turn to front switch because he didn't hit my copters, so I can end the investments in this like long-lasting copter trade and just try and bum rush his HQ by moving my vehicles back and then up and then over to try and make it seem like I'm waiting for him to just try and like start capping these properties. But of course, that's not what I do. I scouted this out, and I go, well, I can get some engagements here. But notice I have to use 1 tank to clear that infantry, and I can't get 2 hits to kill this tank, and then like another hit from the forest to hit this tank because this one health copter blocks the way. So I have to invest a 9 health copter to kill a 1 health copter. So one of my vehicles to kill an infantry, one of my vehicles to kill a 1 health copter. So I'm down 2 vehicles in my first strike count, which is really bad. Because that means that like there's a tank that I can see doesn't even get first struck. So when the wall's up like that, I don't have like my infantry around or like my power or anything to really break through. It's just a better choice to not move in on Adder and give him his power so we can get more strikes on you. That would be definitely the turn that I just need to leave and leave in a way that makes it look like I'm still there, but waiting for him to overextend more. But this is going to be a bloody turn. Oh god, he one-shots me. He got the roll. He got the roll again. That guy had some chip on him. I guess this guy had like a tiny bit of chip from a 1 health infantry, but still. Oh my gosh, look at that damage. Poor Grim. That's, yeah. It's rough out here for the Reaper. Did he go and refuel this? It would be really fancy if he goes down like over here and it gets fueled by the Black Boom. Now he's super all in over here. He's like, well, I just did a ton of damage to you. I'm like, yeah, you did. And he's doing a little bit up here. I'm not sure why. What's he do with this transport copter? He doesn't even move this artillery, so these guys are just available to die. He waits with the transport copter. I guess that's for this guy to pop in. But he actually could have flown over here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, he couldn't. Why is it saying he can? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He doesn't have a super up. That must be a glitch. He still should have, though. I don't know what's up with that. Oh well. Okay, so I think, well, yeah, let's start up the copter trades again, except now it's not nearly as good because I can't hit this copter. It's very well shielded. So he's going to have a copter superiority in this location of the map, which is something I've kind of been having. And I have now lost. And I don't even get the roll. That's like one of the good things about being Grim is that you get that roll, but then the power defense. Oh my god. Yeah. Just like do what I can kind of a thing. Try and make it so he doesn't just get free kills on my copter. But... So yeah, instead of that front switch, I kind of just lost everything over here. And instead I'm front switching now. A turn later with a lot less stuff. I'm trying to be secretive about it. So I didn't like do a full move there. So I'm going to be able to storm this as long as he doesn't catch on. Oof. All these poor guys. Now he has a recon here. But I know he has a recon there. This infantry was hit by it. Yeah, that's why it's not all like Grim's got good copters, but he also has very fragile copters. So I guess his plan is just to be a transport boost. It's just a boost point for the infantry there. That's kind of funny. Now he's super far ahead. He's even on the income now, so I have no metric that I'm doing better in. He's still doing his weird imager out. Another copter, of course. Ooh, he's saving a lot of money. 10,000 floating. He just waits with all this stuff. Yeah. Okay, so if I want to continue this front switch, I need to be aware of the fact that there is a recon here. So he can see if I move through. I have to like do the manual move around. Which I do with him. Manually move him up. Not with him. That's a problem. He sees that. Yeah, he sees this tile. So the second one revealed that I'm sending tanks up here. I think he also saw that. That might have been forced. So I definitely was kicking myself over that. I was like, I just did the manual thing. Why didn't I do it again? So this means that again. This means that he's gonna know that this attack's coming in. Even though I'm being like sneaky with my copters and stuff. So I've got a very large strike force up here. It's not nearly as large as what he's got down here, but that's okay because he doesn't have much up here. One health copter scouting out my sneaky infantries. They're trying to delay captures and the like. He's got enough stuff over here that really I shouldn't have even gone for this. He can very easily scout me out. I should have just ran with these infantry and try and like fight another day. But what I'm trying to do is set it up into an HQ race. So another thing if we're looking at like the stuff odd bot, it's like tank, mech, infantry, and saving 9,000 didn't build my battlecopter. That's because I'm thinking I need to start buying stealths to try and hold this HQ. And really that's something I probably should have been doing. Maybe like 2 turns earlier when I was first thinking about the front switching. Like building more tanks isn't going to help that much, but if I can hold the line better with like 2 stealth with the black boat supporting them, then I can probably hold my HQ unless he's a really gung-ho and builds a fighter predicting that. But he goes for the medium tank this time instead of the Neotank. Very, very smart. Here's my first stealth. Also could have just like not built this tank so I could build another stealth the next, just start chaining as many stealths as I can. This Grim does have really good stealths. The 30% extra attack lets him like one-shot tanks and stuff. And they don't take counter damage. And they already pretty much die to fighters. So they're like an even better version of the copter. They just also happen to be incredibly expensive. But they're very strong. So you can see I'm being very careful with my infantry, because if they get cleared out, because he still has a lot of his, then I can't take his HQ, and that's the only way I'm going to win this. But at the same time, I do need to move them forward, because it's not like he isn't close to taking my HQ. He's incredibly close. Luckily, he's like stopping along the way to take my cities. Yeah. So close to being able to take my HQ right now. I'm a little bit further away from his, but I'm getting there. And I do have a lot of stuff over here. So he has to like spend a few turns trying to build up an army to stop me. So it's definitely a race. Despite being so far behind. As long as like, if all my stuff is up here, then all of his combat vehicles down here might as well be dead if the only fight is actually up here. So I have, it's kind of like a way to mitigate my huge disparity in unit count. And here's my stealth on its way. And, you know, in the current state, it would be able to just kill everything. So that's good. And I think I don't move it 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't move it the full way because I thought he might have like a recon that could scout it, and I don't want him to see it for good reason. So here I come in to try and clear up as much stuff as I can. Kill this artillery that's guarding this HQ. He's actually got like a bajillion ways he could defend this, of course. He could build a battleship, he could build his own stealths. But you know, you gotta go with what you can. So I'll just go in here and try and clear out as many infantry as possible. And I do a pretty good job. That was a pretty strong attack. But of course, I do see that there's 2 copters over here. Yeah, I did build the first anti-air of the game, though. So even if he kills my copters off with his copters, I can still fight him. And then, yeah, I decided not to bring my mech along because I think he's just gonna kill this my poor black boat. I wanted to put the black boat here so that I could potentially get my stealth next to my HQ. It does kind of rely on him not standing on the shoals here, so it relies on him making a pretty big misplay. Here he comes into, I don't know if it's like the third or fourth time he's going to do a power into a huge like army wipe kind of thing. As Adder does, 1 health copter, still getting work done, scouting out my little guys. Now this is, of course, the bad part about my black boat being sent forward so early, is that it can also just get surrounded and killed. So maybe I should have sat on the shoals here. I don't know. It's definitely a risky business either way, because I don't want him to be able to block me off. Because he's got like a 1 health copter they can just put no kind of thing, you know? But now he's been really slow with getting to this HQ. Like, I've almost gotten to his HQ before he got to mine, despite how much of a head start he had. So next turn he'll be able to flop on there. And up here, I still have a fair number of tanks up here, and well, my copters I do still have the anti-air, so there's still a pretty good amount of fight up here, even though he's almost doubled me in unit value. So here we go. Boom! 1 shot, no power needed. The power of the... such as the strength of the... I don't think this is actually loaded. Such as the strength of the grim stealth. Alright, we continue our fight up here, try and get as many little pickoffs as possible. Clear the way for these infantry that are just a few turns out of range of the HQ. He's now in range. That's the only place you could go that would put him in range. He's very vulnerable to dying, but he's almost there. You gotta do what you gotta do. And I was very good at keeping these infantry alive, so I could actually continue the threat and have a possible victory in the cards if he somehow misplayed his investments. Now this... Okay. This is a really bad buy. But the reason I built this cruiser is because what I'm seeing him doing is putting a tank here, a battle copter here, and then starting the HQ cap. Now, you might think, okay, so your stealth will kill the tank, no problem. And then you'll have to use to interrupt the cap is your copter. So you need something that can kill the copter blocking it. Well, why don't you just build a fighter? With the money instead of this cruiser. There we go. 23. Yeah, enough to build a fighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now the problem I saw with this is the 1 health and the 5 health copter. They can go around me, and they can stand in the path of the fighter. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't actually hold this with a fighter buy. You can body block with that dang 1 health battlecopter. Well, I guess in this case the 5 health battlecopter. They survived and they continue to thwart me. So instead, I'll build a cruiser because they one-shot battlecopters. But there's a huge problem with building the cruiser. And that is that they can't actually pass through shoals. So while I can clear the tank, I will not be able to stand on this tile and clear the battlecopter. So that is actually, while it was like big brain in the moment, is actually like the final nail in the coffin. I actually started to have a little bit of a comeback there, but he also has this medium tank and more copters over here, so yeah, as we can see, He's holding on pretty well over here. Although he for some reason did not hit this infantry. So I could start the HQ cap, but I don't have any ways of like blocking against his many battle copters. So it's too bad. He also starts his. You can see he goes for this double block. He one health, 5 health. That's interesting that he went for that though. So he must not have seen the potential of blocking the route for my fighter. Or he might have just been like, well, he must not have a fighter because he called a cruiser kind of a thing. Because otherwise there's like no reason to not do that. And I think I resign here? Yeah. I probably should have stepped on the HQ and then resigned. But that was a loss against Hogat as Grim. And I think while I did make a lot of really bad mistakes, I put up a really good fight. And I'm very proud of my Neotank kill. If I just performed a few things, a few engagements better, like not fighting over here quite so much in really losing battles, and like a better front switch, I definitely could have come away with a victory. But yeah, for like analyzing this game and like learning from my mistakes, I think the easiest way is to probably look at deaths and look at this very handy graph. And this is going to tell me good turns to look at. And the way to read this for like to see which turns to go look at is when these lines intersect and cross. So this is a number of deaths. Oh, you know, let's turn off the value. We'll just look at deaths for now. Okay. So purple is my deaths. So whenever the purple line is above the green line, I have lost more units than my opponent. So it looks like the first time that happens for in a big way is around like turn 12-ish. And then I start to make a comeback around turn 15, and then I like almost make a comeback way over here, I guess. So like turn 12 and turn 15 are good ones to look around. And if we look at the value, looks like that lines up the same for the turn 12 in value, and then like a little bit before turn 15 in value is when I start making a pretty big comeback. And then again, another one up here, and then almost another one over here, and then the game ends. So we'll look at turn 12, and we'll look at turn 15, and then powers, total funds generated. I don't know how useful this is. Let's get rid of the all times. Look at per turns. Yeah. Well, this one was pretty close until the very end. You can see that I have a pretty long period where I'm up a whole property. I think this is probably where his Recon came in and interrupted me a tiny bit. Well, it interrupted me a lot, but it did also detract from his own capture game to use it, so I'll say a little bit. So let's look at turn 12 and see what was going on with that. Here you. Yeah, okay, so that would be why. Turn 12 is when I went for this really big attack that I should have known would be bad because of the big signifiers to use is this tank going for such a risky attack on my Recon and how little I actually saw over here. I should have known that it was I should have fallen back here. So the lesson I want to take from this is like understanding why this attack happened and what that tells me about what's behind it. And of course, like if there aren't stuff here, if there's not much over here, then there's a lot over here. And I should have used that to guide my choice of engagement over here. That's a pretty easy one to learn. Oh, and we'll quickly look at like. Oh yeah, this is the perfect one. Don't do a bluff where you reveal like the previous turns of production from the base that you're bluffing from. Like this very easy thing for me to fix. It's actually something I was running into a lot in the game. I think is not fully playing around my opponent's vision. Just like when I did the front switch, I went into it without doing the manual pathing and all that. So definitely before I like commit to stuff or like go for baits, I need to double check what can my opponent see that they'll be able to glean information from as to whether or not the attack is actually safe. I think the last one was like turn 15. Or is it turn 16? No, yeah. My turn 15. Oh, okay. So this one goes downhill. So yeah, this is why I get ahead. Because he built the Neotank and then places it on. I'm just going to watch this. Sorry. I just want to watch this kill again. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, so that's really good. The bad part about this turn was sending this tank to kill this infantry and the losing my recon up here. If this one I know is just because I had a previous plan, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to modify my play around that. Maybe I should have a policy in place where, like, when I get a power earlier than I think I should, or that I thought I would, I need to, like, remap out the whole turn so I don't go on autopilot and make bad engagements. I just want to watch this again. Alright, so good. And then, yeah, this is just classic overextension over here. It's like, I don't need to go for this attack. I don't even need to go for this comm tower. I should just let these units get traded out as I want them to get traded out for value, and then like hold the line. Yeah, I think this was a good game. I definitely didn't play my best, but I put up a good fight, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So good luck and have fun out.